When I first started out earning frequent flyer points, I didn't know it at the time, but I was doing everything completely wrong. And in today's video, I'm going to share some of the lessons that I've learned over the past 10 years so you don't have to follow the same mistakes that I did when I was beginning. In today's video, I'm going to share the top 5 things that I wish I knew when I was first starting out earning frequent flyer points. When I first earned my 100,000 points, I was so excited to go and use them. I jumped on the Qantas website, and then I really wanted to go somewhere in business class in those nice plushy lie flat seats. But when I jumped on the Qantas website, I couldn't find any of those seats. So instead, I ended up settling for an economy Bali ticket from Brisbane to Bali on Jetstar economy. I didn't know it, but this was one of the worst ways that you can actually redeem your points. The redemption value on these sort of flights, depending on if Jetstar has a sale or not, is usually around 2 cents per point. In comparison, going on a long-haul business class flight with a somewhat premium airlines such as Qantas or Emirates or Cathay Pacific, you're usually going to get between 6 to 10 cents worth of value per point. So I was redeeming them just by going on that Bali trip at about 1/3 to 1/5 of what I could have redeemed them for if I had actually found a flight that was a lie flat business class seat like I had originally wanted. So that is the first lesson, is to make sure you're ideally redeeming your points between 6 to 10 cents worth of value, as opposed to on these lower economy budget airline redemptions where you're going to get about 2 cents worth of value. So the way that we find these redemption values is, number one, we figure out how much this flight would cost you if you were paying with cash. So to do that, just jump on Google Flights or jump on the Qantas website and find how much they want for you to pay cash to book that flight. For this example, let's just say that that flight, if you had to pay cash for it, would cost you $10,000. But if we go on the Qantas website and we find one of these classic reward fares, we can book that $10,000 flight for 100,000 points. The math that we would do is we would divide the 10,000 divided by the amount of points required, so 100,000, and that will spit us out an answer that is 10 cents per point. This means that for every point you spend, you're getting 10 cents worth of value. Now, I did the math on the Bali Jetstar flight, and that math turns out to be about 2 cents per point. So if you're beginning, I would highly recommend doing this math and just making sure that you're actually redeeming your points for something worthwhile. In comparison, if people are earning points at around 2 cents per point, that is, for some instances, a really good deal, because if you can actually use those points to get you value of 6 to 10 cents, then it is amazing. You're pretty much printing free money. That's why people end up buying some points on the Qantas website, because they're paying 2 cents per point in order to unlock 6 to 10 cents worth of value. So the second thing that I wish I knew was that getting points is actually the easiest part. There's so many ways in 2025 that you can actually earn points. And to be honest, more and more people are starting to earn points because of just how easy it is to get into the Qantas and Velocity membership and start earning points. I mean, you can go to the movies now and earn points. You can fill up your car at the petrol station and earn points. You can earn points on your groceries. There are becoming unlimited ways now that you can earn points. Now, a lot of those ways are not going to earn you a substantial amount of points, which is another topic for another day. But the main thing is that people can very easily earn points now, which means the amount of members that Qantas and Velocity have are starting to increase. And when we have a larger membership base, it gets harder and harder to actually use those points, because everyone has points and everyone is all chasing those high value redemption seats we first talked about. Now, these airlines are smart. They are in the business of making money, so this is a pretty good strategy from them. They make it easy for people to earn points. For people to earn points, they need to become a member. So in their books, they've got a lot of members earning their membership points, but we have to remember that they are in the business of making money. So what that means is that they'll get these members, but they do want to make it tricky to somewhat use these points for something worthwhile. They can't just go ahead and give everyone these $10,000 flights in exchange for their points, because they would go bankrupt. So what they do is they make it fairly tricky. So they're only going to give away the spare business class seats that they know that they're not going to sell. And only the members who really know what they're doing are able to book these flights. Now this whole example is exaggerated around the Qantas frequent flyer program. And the reason for that is because it's the easiest place to earn points. It's also the place with the most amount of members because it is Australia's national carrier. So one of the things we can do in order to help us use those points is by earning membership points that can be transferred to lots of different airlines as opposed to just Qantas. We don't want to exclusively be earning Qantas points. We want to be earning membership points that we can then transfer to Velocity, to Qantas, to Singapore Airlines, to Emirates. We want to be using all of those different airlines. And the way that I personally do that is by having an Amex Platinum card and earning Amex Platinum membership points. When you earn Amex Platinum membership points, it gives you the ability to transfer to 12 different airlines. So now when I'm looking for flights, I can jump on to the Qantas or the Velocity website, make sure they actually have seats, and then depending on which airline have the seats, I can transfer those points almost instantly. Takes a couple of minutes, and then I can go ahead and book them. If I was exclusively earning Qantas points, if Qantas doesn't have the seats and I see Velocity does, I can't transfer my points from Qantas into Velocity. So I'm essentially stuck sitting there waiting until Qantas may release seats or not. So that's lesson number 3, is that we want to be earning membership points as opposed to exclusively one airline's type of points. So now that we are earning membership points, what we can do from here is instead of going through and searching 12 different airlines websites, we can use a website called seats.aero. Seats.aero is an amazing tool, and pretty much what it's doing is it's capturing all of the data from all of these individual websites and then giving it to you in a nice, easy place so you can see all that data all at once. When I first started earning and using these points, I would just jump onto the Qantas website, put in my individual date for the individual route that I wanted, and then if there were no reward seats, I would manually go through individual days on the classic search and keep scrolling until something popped up. From there, I did advance into using the multi-city search tool, which will allow you to search a whole calendar month at a time. But the next step in addition to that would be using seats.aero. Seats.aero is the place that I go to now before I jump on the Qantas or the Velocity website. It just helps me scan multiple dates, multiple airlines, and I can filter it through so it ranks by business class availability. I've been doing this now for about 10 years and I haven't seen a better tool to use than seats.aero for finding reward seats. But there is one problem, and that is that seats.aero is only searching the routes that you're putting in. This means if you're putting in a very specific route, for example, Brisbane to Los Angeles, it's only going to return the data for that. So if there is no availability on the Qantas Velocity website or any of the other airlines, it's not going to be able to show you the data you want. And this is lesson number 5, which is sometimes you have to get really creative with the routes that you're putting in. For example, if I wanted to go to the USA and I was in Brisbane and I searched Brisbane to LA and there were no flights, I could very easily throw my hands up in the air and say, well, it's all too hard. I can't use my points. I'll have to travel 15 hours in economy. But by getting creative, maybe we can use our points and we can fly from Melbourne or from Sydney instead and see if they have availability. Now, it might be a bit of muck around getting on a plane, going on a domestic flight to a nearby city in order to get another flight. But if it's going to get you 15 hours in a lie flat business class seat, that 2 to 3 hour muck around just to get to Sydney or Melbourne might be worth it. You can also do the same for the arrival city. So instead of just searching into Los Angeles, I could be searching into Dallas, I could be searching into San Francisco, into New York, into Honolulu. Any one of these cities may have the availability that I otherwise wouldn't have found if I was just searching Brisbane to Los Angeles. So those are the top 5 things I wish I knew when I first started out using points. First thing being the redemption values, making sure I'm redeeming my points between 6 to 10 cents worth of value. I then want to be making sure that I earn membership points that I can transfer to both Qantas, Velocity, and other airline programs. From here, using seats.aero so we can efficiently search all those websites, and then also getting creative with the routes if direct are not available. If you have some ideas on content you'd like me to make next, please let me know in the comments. If you like this sort of content, I would highly recommend subscribing, as I'm posting pretty much every single day videos like this. I'm also on Instagram, a little bit more active on there, so chuck us a follow.